Welcome to the very first episode of the Hustle and Heart podcast, Finding Success on Your Own Terms. I can't even begin to describe how much it means to me that you're tuning in right now. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. This podcast was born out of a season of transformation in my life, a journey of inner work, career shifts, and personal growth. It's a space where we celebrate the beauty of chasing big dreams, embracing change, and redefining what success and fulfillment means on our own terms. Hustle and Heart is all about keeping it real. Here, we'll share stories of breakthroughs and breakdowns, tools that help us thrive, and reminders that it's okay to evolve, even when it feels messy. My hope is that each episode leaves you feeling inspired, empowered, and just a little more in love with your journey. To kick off this first episode, I'm joined by someone incredibly special, someone who has been a part of my personal story since the very beginning of my professional career, my soul sister, mi hermana, Angelica Maria Lopez McCabe. Now, here's the thing. Angelica does not typically do podcast interviews or anything of the sort. So having her is really a big deal. She's showing up not just for me, but for Hustle and Heart and what it represents. And trust me, when Angelica shows up, she brings her whole heart. This conversation is raw, it's authentic, and filled with a whole lot of love. She's going to ask me questions I don't normally get asked, and knowing her, she'll have me sharing sides of myself I've really put into words. I couldn't think of a better way to introduce you to me, to this podcast, and to what's ahead for all of us on this journey. So get comfortable, grab your cafecito, and let's dive into episode 1 of Hustle and Heart, Finding Success and Fulfillment on Your Own Terms, with the one and only Angelica Maria Lopez McCabe. For our first premiere episode, I'm doing something really special. I'm handing over the interviewer's mic to someone who knows my story inside out, my soul sister and confidant, my twinski, Angelica McCabe. She's been my front row witness through every pivot point, every triumph, every breakdown, every breakthrough, and challenge in my personal and professional life. From corporate career to entrepreneurship, motherhood to personal rebranding, this woman has been by my side through it all. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on my journey of transformation. Think of this as an intimate conversation between friends that you get to be a part of and learn why this podcast is here today. We'll explore how embracing your path, even the unexpected turns, can lead to discovering your true calling. And trust me, Angelica knows exactly which questions to ask to get the real unfiltered truth. So I hope that you get inspired, challenged, and motivated to chase your dreams by the end of this episode. And if you're loving the show, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a review. That would mean a lot. It would help reach more amazing listeners just like you. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome, Ange.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. So, and I can't lie, a little nervous, but I'm excited. I'm excited and I'm happy about this journey. I'm going to be the first one.
It's not the first time you're the first one. You were my first customer, paying customer with purchasing a Sew Nest accessory. I still have the check. We were writing check at the time. I still have that.
You're gonna date. You're gonna date us. You're gonna date us because the Gen Zers, if they watch this, don't you? We're writing checks. They're gonna know.
But it's true story. Yeah. True story.
Well,
thank you for being here.
You've given me the reins, so I'm just gonna jump right into it. I have a whole bunch of questions to ask.
This podcast, what inspired this podcast?
Yeah.
This podcast, I feel, is come full circle. As a child, I just remember I would pretend to have a radio show with my younger brother, Alan. He was my sidekick. He was my co-host. And we would talk about random things, really random things. And I found joy in that. I love music. So then I would record, music off the radio stations, and then I would make my own little segments. And then I loved doing that. And then I went to school to Columbia for radio, but you had to do radio and TV at the time. So I was like dabbling with that for a while before I moved to Miami and transferred majors completely. But that always stuck with me. I phased out of that dream or that idea of continuing that because of life and just other things that happen. But it's funny how full circle it just comes around. And you were someone that I used to make mix CDs for. Music is a love language.
It truly is. Okay, so how has your personal or your professional journey lead you to this podcast?
I think it was time for me to stop wishing I could do something or kind of like give myself the distance in my head that was unattainable or for whatever reason. And I just decided to go for it. For the longest, I've been working on my mindset on anything that my mind tells me no to. I should do the opposite. Right. And I felt like I've reached the point where I had to take a really good look at myself and like give myself that own encouragement too, and finally just bite the bullet and do it. And I realized that I find myself kind of also like, again, going full circle with how back in the day when Soness evolved from just styling, wardrobe styling, to becoming an accessory boutique, into a platform for local artists and talented people to promote their art and their work. And what I always said back then was Soness was just a platform to amplify the noise, amplify the awareness of these awesome people. And literally that's what I'm doing with this podcast is I'm giving the mic to people to share their story, because no matter where they're at in their journey, they've been through some sort of thing. They've been through some sort of challenge, some sort of breakthrough, some sort of business opportunity, some sort of promotion, some, new roads, new paths, and they overcame things. And I feel if we all just gave each other a chance to listen to each other and allow ourselves to be compassionate to ourselves and to others and just listen and you can find inspiration, you can find motivation, you can find, relatability. And I feel that's so important right now. So if I can do that, if this podcast can turn into that, then
yeah,
I'm doing it.
Yeah, like I can't even imagine you even being scared about doing this, because I feel like you've done like scarier things in the 20 plus years that I've known you, that I'm like, this is easy. This is you talking that you like to, you like to talk to people. So why not, Like
I do.
yeah. So I'm really happy. I don't know what took so long, but I'm really happy. I'm really happy that you did this. So okay, so I know as your best friend, like I know what sparked, we brought it up now, like Soness, I know what sparked that. But what made you choose the theme and the focus of this podcast?
People forget that every day is golden, and there's so many victories that people accomplish that they don't even realize. They don't give themselves credit. And sometimes it just takes time to give people a chance to talk about that and share their story for the right people to listen and spark something positive or learn from nerdy side within. And I love learning something new all the time. Like I get a little bit obsessive sometimes, but I love it. And I feel like if I'm learning and I'm taking something new out of it, again, there's somebody out there that could too. So yeah, if I could accomplish all of that, and I think like it took so long because I wasn't fully there and believing in myself to do so. In
my opinion, you're very confident, and you're always so positive, and you've always been successful at anything that you put your mind to. So say, that now you have the courage. I'm like, you've always had the courage to do so much. So I'm happy, and I'm very interested in seeing how you could step out of your comfort zone, and seeing all these different people that you're going to have on the show. And also like for me to learn, because I'm always learning something new and learning something through you. Sometimes with our friends or people that we know, we don't really necessarily talk about their struggles or the journey. So we just, kind of see, okay, this is what, what they have or what they're doing. So through a platform like this, I'm very excited to see, who comes on here and tells them about their hustle, about, the heart and all, all their struggle and what they're bringing to this platform. So I'm super excited. A podcast is like the thing to do. Like everybody has one, everybody. So how do you feel that this one's going to stand out?
I hope that it calls the right people on its own through people sharing in the sense of, this hit my heart, you got to hear it in that way. One thing that I've always preached, and now I'm like wearing it like as a badge of honor, is putting yourself out there and allowing the higher powers that be and the forces that be like attract those that need to hear the message. And so I know that this podcast, amongst, having the opportunity to meet new folks and hear different stories and journeys and get inspired, I do hope that this would inspire everybody, no matter if they feel like something is saturated or if they feel like everybody is doing it, why should they start? I hope that this podcast would inspire those to like really just go after it, like whatever it would be. And let's see where it goes, right? Like in 5 years, I would love to have this podcast and have live experiences and take it like a live tour. That would be super cool, and an opportunity to really incorporate more of a personal experience. But until then, we're going to use these airwaves and we're going to have fun.
So would that be because if the listeners were to walk away with one key takeaway from the podcast, what would you want it to be?
There are certain podcast promises that I will work hard for in terms of making sure that every episode, no matter who's on it, no matter what topic it is that either we have a culmination of vibing out together, there's motivation, we're talking about building something, growing something from the bottom up, or collaborating. And one way or another, at the end of every episode, my whole intention and goal is that you walk away feeling one or all of the above. Again, completely keeping it honest and vulnerable, as scary as that is. And I think that's too, it's very scary for me too, is showing that side of the good and the bad. But at the end of the day, like when you have gone through battles, like, it's sometimes it stings to talk about it, but at the end of the day, you're there to talk about it and share it. So that in itself is a blessing. And to be able to have this podcast is a blessing for me.
Yeah, because, people could see through the phonies. Definitely bringing the realness and talking about the struggles, because honestly, nothing is easy. Even the people that are super successful at the start, and even when they're at the top, they're struggling one way or the other. I think that everybody does want to hear everything, right? No matter how hard, no matter how ugly or how embarrassing it is, one way or another, it's going to resonate with somebody and make them feel better, because they might think, oh, wow, well, whatever I'm going through is not as bad as what happened to her.
Or they might not feel alone.
Right. So, hey, let's let it all hang out, right? So let me ask you a question. How has preparing for the podcast change or challenge you personally?
because this is a podcast that I intend to be more of a hybrid format where I will have guest speakers and episodes with just myself, I've always had somebody with me when I am out presenting, or taking it back further, being a fashion stylist. Like, that's what I started off with in my entrepreneur or freelancing career. I was always behind the camera. So being in front of the camera was very, very different for me. So I think just getting myself mentally prepared to put myself out there, to be real and raw, and get lost in having awesome, deep conversations with people, because I love to do that. And then putting that conversation out there, that is not something I'm used to. So leading up to just knowing that I just got to go for it and mentally prepare myself, I feel has made me just more mentally stronger and more confident in myself. And I've seen growth in myself because I'm finally doing this. And so all of that preparation leading up to this has benefited me, I think, in which in turn I radiate hopefully out to others.
Absolutely. I know your career journey, but can you give us like a little snippet? Because you mentioned sewness and then you mentioned styling. So I guess take us back. Where did your professional career go? If you could give us like a little summary of from the beginning until now.
Yeah. So after high school, I really didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I had to do something with myself, especially my mom would have no other way. So she actually encouraged me to check out a travel academy. It was American Airlines Travel Academy, and it was a 6-week program. It was intense. And at the end of the course, you get to interview to work for American Airlines. And if you pass that interview and you get accepted and hired, then they fly you out to Dallas, Fort Worth, to their headquarters. And you can then choose to, at that time, this is how it worked. And this is 98. Yeah, because I graduated in 98. So you got to choose if you want to do ticket agent or if you wanted to be a flight attendant. And so at that time, I chose that I wanted to be a ticket agent. I don't know why I said that, but I went with it. And that did not last long at all. Let's just leave it at that.
I don't even think a travel agent would have lasted long. 2001, September 11th would have happened. And you would have been like no.
No.
Yeah.
I honestly lasted literally long. I spent more time in training than I did at the job. Like the job was 2 weeks and that's it. I was like, it's over. But led me into the travel industry, right? So that was the beginning of my career in the travel industry. Later, I worked at Leo Burnett in their travel department. Leo Burnett is a very reputable marketing agency, a world known. And so I was booking the hotels and all of the land reservations. So at that time it was limos to get all of the executives. At that time, limos, yes, limousines.
Wow, it's stretch.
Hey. Oh, stretch. Yeah, so I would book all of the talent and the executives whenever they had commercials in New York and LA, and any other spot within the U.S. So luckily for me, I had the really awesome opportunity to have the first taste of corporate travel when I was 20, working for Leo Burnett. And everybody knew that I was the person that was booking their hotel and their limo. So trust that I had VIP service in every place that I went, New York and LA. And it was very nice because, they are
you're
really
young. I mean,
yeah, they were taking me to, I was... It was fun, and it gave me an opportunity to taste the corporate world. That's where it's at, And then I got a taste of what overtime was, and it was really fun considering I never had made money like that. So at that time, I was also going to school at Columbia for radio and TV, but I really took more radio classes. I had snippets where I was slicing and doing intros.
I remember that. Yeah.
So that was fun. That was fun getting lost for hours in the studio, making like a 30-second reel. Yeah, good times.
Yeah.
And then my mom got laid off from her job that she was at for 25 years. And I, didn't realize this until later in life. But a lot of my big moves have always been to help others, right? Or like being motivated to help others. So at that time, I was like, man, how dare those people do that to my mom? Like I want to get into HR and I want to change things and like be better. And like a Pisces in HR is like the worst place for them to be. Okay. So I had no idea about what I was changing my entire life trajectory. Like everything shifted when I made that move because I gave everybody a 2-week notice and I signed up for FIU and no one believed me until I pulled up in the U-Haul and I left and I went to Miami.
So you left Chicago to go to Miami
and go to school. Yes. So I had friends that I was at Columbia with and they got accepted to you. So they went to you. I got accepted at FIU and I went ahead and we all moved into a 2-bedroom apartment, 4 girls in a 2-bedroom apartment. You are my witness. So yeah, we left Chicago June 17th and 2002. And that's when I was able to use my travel background to get into the cruise line. And I never knew how huge the cruise industry was. And I think like I've shared it a lot with people that I used to like talk to when I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm not from here. They'll be like, where are you from? I'm from Chicago. You don't cruise? It's not a boat. It's a ship. Because I would always call it a boat. And everyone would be like, it's not a boat. It's a ship.
Yeah.
So yeah, for coming just from like the Midwest is like very difficult to get out there. So I never really took into consideration how huge that industry is or like how popular it is, how awesome it is. So when I did get the job at Carnival, that was very fun. And that's when we were working in a call center and we're working booking groups.
Yeah.
You were an OG there. I was a newbie. And thank God I got that job because it was so hard. Like I moved out there with no job and that was dumb as hell. I would never, ever recommend that.
But let me tell you that Carnival, like for being such a big corporation, they give so many, young people opportunities. And I was just like you. I mean, although, I wasn't from out of state, I was from Miami. It was a great opportunity to still go to school during the day and then work at night and then work a corporate job, not have to work retail or in a restaurant like the rest of the 20-year-olds were doing. Like, I remember getting out of school and then driving. I would like go to school like from 9 until like 1. And then the shift at Carnival started, I don't know, like 1:30 or 2 o'clock or something, or maybe a little bit later until like 9 o'clock. So you could work like 4 hours or whatever, Monday through Friday, still have your weekends off. So I feel like for a college student, that was a great job. We had benefits.
It was super
corporate
awesome.
setting again. We got to, we were surrounded by adults, like we were young and we were partying and we were around adults, like, so yeah, it was great. It was a great environment for that time for sure.
Yeah, it really did help me get through the school for sure. And then that's when I got recruited to go to Royal Caribbean. And then that's when I worked my way up and I was there for 7 years. And that's where I learned a lot, like a lot. And real talk, that's where I also started my entire journey when it comes to sales and marketing, teaching travel agents how to sell Royal Caribbean experience over all other cruise lines and creating newsletters for them and teaching them what email marketing is and, working the system around how to get a school email to jump onto Facebook and promote their packages for spring break cruises, that job took me around the world. That job introduced me to so many brilliant, creative, special people that I love dearly that
you still stay in contact with that could possibly be part of this podcast?
Yes.
Nice.
And then also to some people that have no idea that I'm going to be hitting them up, but it's coming.
Surprise! 20 years later.
Hi.
Yeah.
But luckily social media has made it easy to tap in and like send a happy birthday or keep in touch.
So then after the cruise industry, because, then where did that take you?
Well, so I left the cruise industry because I moved back home because at the time I followed my heart. I was in a relationship and all our families were back home and we felt like, let's go back home. So I made that shift. And it's funny because people say, always listen to your gut. And if you don't listen to your gut, your body is going to tell you, hey, man, you're not listening to you didn't listen to me. And I remember that when I left Royal Caribbean, that was a very, very tough decision because I knew that I was leaving a great company. I knew that I really wasn't going to find another place like that invested in their employees as they did, as just the camaraderie, the culture. It was very unique, and I just knew that I would never find a place like that again. And when I say I cried driving over that bridge, leaving that port, boy, that was no joke. But I followed my heart because I'm a girl that does that. And that is when I had a breakthrough or a breakdown, and that led to a breakthrough.
As they usually do, breakdowns do lead you to a breakthrough. I wouldn't say like 9 times out of 10. That's what happens during a breakdown, for sure.
Yeah. But it's part of my story, so I embrace it. But it is one of those things that I remember when I told you I'm moving back home, you're like, yeah.
I mean, selfishly, I didn't want you to go because obviously, I was still in Miami and I didn't want you to leave. And I'm just thinking, why would you go back to Chicago? It's I had been to Chicago. So I'm comparing Chicago and Miami at that time in our lives, like Miami was the place for both of us to be. For me, it wasn't time for you, for you to go, but you left and then you came back.
And then I left again.
And then you left again. So, yeah.
But that's another, like, a life, like, learning relationship, right? Like, the most toxic ones are, like, the most difficult ones are, like, it really teaches you who you are, what you want, what you don't want, areas to fix within yourself, So, like, I'm grateful for it all. But coming here, like, really opened up a lot of new doors that I wasn't used to. I was so used to the consistency of, like, the same job for the past 7 years and, like, the same routine. Miami became home. After 10 years, Miami became home.
But I have to stop you there, Vani, because during your time in Miami, in between, like on the weekends and during your off time or after hours, you were doing other things, like the entrepreneurial in you was there.
Yes.
So you did things outside of the cruise industry.
Yes, fun things.
Yeah, fun things. Yes. To not only were they a different, like, stream, another source of income for you, but they were fun. And then you got to meet, like, a whole bunch of different people in a whole different setting, a whole different world.
See, that's why I need you. That's why I need you. I do things that like, that's why I need you, because I forget about
Yeah, I'm like,
certain
wait a
things.
minute. We did, not we, you did fashion shows. You styled
Yes.
fashion shows and photo shoots. And I believe that Soness started when you were in Miami, and then you took it with you to Chicago. So your whole styling and the whole entrepreneurship as far as having online boutique, which was at the start of like Instagram. In 2010, like you legit were like the first like Instagram store.
Instagram
Like
boutique.
so like you
Yeah.
were like that wasn't even a thing yet, and you were on Instagram selling jewelry.
Yeah. That
Like
was
it's
fun.
crazy. It's crazy. I wonder if that page is still out there.
The Soness page. Yeah, I
Yeah.
gotta look into that. I have to
You
see.
should. You should.
We had friends that were in the entertainment industry that working with musicians and doing special events and all this good
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah, being able to have friends that trust in you and believe in your vision and see your talent, like giving you a shot and connecting you and saying your name and behind times when you're not there in a great way and a positive way, really helped out a lot, because that's where I started doing styling for, like you said, for Soness. And then we did the music videos. It was just say that. And then the reason why it evolved into the boutique is because the accessories that I would source and the gear that I would put together, people would be like, oh my God, Soness, where did you get that? Like, yo, Soness, where these accessories from? Or so Soness came from that, and where I was able to start selling the accessories that I was styling people with. And yeah, I was absolutely, man, the vision that I had for Soness was like probably all over the place. That's why it really didn't go too far, because I just had it. I wanted to do so much with it. Yeah, and I think that's another learning lesson when you are starting out your entrepreneur career, that you want to take on so much, but then you learn that it's like really hard and damn near impossible, because if it's not where you make yourself go crazy, you burn out. And if it's none of those, then you're so all over the place that people are very confused and like, what are you? You know what I'm saying? Like,
like
they
what
don't
are
know
you doing? Is this a boutique? Is this like,
And so also too, being a stylist, man, that is a very, very hard job. And you really don't get you don't get money much from it. It's not a very lucrative job. There's a lot of other lucrative positions out there that you could be doing other than wardrobe stylist. So I feel like those that do that role is because they have a passion in it. It's because they love it and they love doing it for others. And they see the reward and satisfaction in the energy exchange from that, and that's what got me going. I did so many free photo shoots, so many free shows, so much free work.
or and or bartering. And it's like, bartering is not going to pay the bills.
It has its place, but it also has its limit. You know what I'm saying? And it was very exhausting. And so that's when I shifted to just doing the next most hectic thing is pop-ups, right? So I shifted from styling to hustling and busting my ass with
different events,
tents and tables in all weather conditions.
Yeah.
And that is so hard on the body after doing it so long. So man, every time I go to fest, I give kudos and props to everybody that's there, because I know all the hard work that goes behind those events. So people, be kind to those vendors. I started shifting into selling my accessories and then opening it up for other artists to sell their work. And then that's when my friend Robin opened up her jewelry line. She explored that. And we had photographer Angie Starr. And then we just always had something that we wanted to present and share with everyone else. Again, unify our voices to amplify it. So that was fun, but that doesn't pay the bills. And real talk, when I was doing that here in Chicago, here's another thing that maybe a lot of people don't know is I started Lyft driving in the mornings because I had to make ends meet.
I remember that, yeah.
when you hustle, and you got bills, like, and no one's paying them for you, no one's sponsoring you for it. You got to handle it. And so I went off and I was doing that because I refused to hear people say, Sonas isn't working, or Sonas isn't paying the bills, or you need more than Sonas. Like, I wanted to like do as much as I could on my own before I heard anyone say that to me.
That it failed. Yeah. Yeah.
So that was another lesson. That was another big thing where I was just like sucking it up.
I feel like it's always okay to, like, let's say have that 9 to 5 and then have like a little passion project, on the side. So it's not that it's doable. I've not only seen you do it, but like other people too. I've seen them do it, and it's possible if you set your mind to it. And obviously you have people around you to keep you motivated, which I feel like, you did throughout the years always have core group of people that kept you going and motivated, and you always attracted partners or friendships or collaborations where everybody, kind of wanted the same, kind of always had the same vision that aligns with yours. I feel that that's something that's always been part of who you are and kind of your DNA. Like, okay, I'll have this, but I'll have this other thing also going on. So I feel like you did great. But now that I'm thinking about it, like, you've had a pretty long career, because it's just, I feel like we're skipping over like the marketing agency that you worked for. That was a pretty big deal, pretty big marketing agency.
That's when literally, Trump was getting into office for the first time. And I didn't know what insurance was going to be like for entrepreneurs. There was just all this talk of things to really honestly cause anxiety and worry.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, you know what, I will go back into the workforce. To your point, there's absolutely nothing wrong with working your 9 to 5 and then carrying on your hustle on the side, or hustles on the side. I'm a big advocate of that. But at that time, I realized that it was also an ego thing, like a end of something. And that was hard to swallow. But that happened, and then I was just like, well, let me get back into something more solid. And that's when I learned another life lesson, because that wasn't solid. And that's when my entire frame of thought and the way I viewed corporate shifted for me, because that's the agency that I worked at, and I had a great team. And unfortunately, after a couple of years, I got let go. And so did a lot of other really incredible people. And I know that it's not, getting laid off is not the end of the world. But man,
it could seem like it. Like if you're obviously, a full grown adult, kids, a mortgage, whatever, that's hard. It's hard.
I'm not in a position to really talk about laws and what you can and cannot do. But I just feel there's got to be a different way to let go of people, to downsize without making them feel so shitty. Really, like, treat you like crap. Like, you can't go get your own stuff. And I know there's reasons behind it, right?
But you're not working at the Pentagon. I mean, like, what high-level security information do you have about the marketing plan of an ice cream? Like, come on. Okay? This is not like, top secret, come on.
A horrible feeling. And that's when I was like, I never want to feel that way again. But you know what? I say that, but then I have 2 more corporate jobs after that. And that's when, before I actually take that official leap, after that agency, that's when I started freelancing. And then I got into more of working in pharma. And I started doing pharma marketing, and I'm working with $1 million budgets, like $5 million budgets. And I had the worst anxiety. Oh my God. We're playing with so much money like that.
Because so much is riding on the marketing plan. Yeah.
Insane. And that was such a high level stress job that I stayed there for a year, and then I got recruited by a tech company called Sprinkler. So I was a Latina in tech, and what I was doing there was helping out my accounts with McDonald's, Amazon, Applebee's, if
That's
they
huge.
wanted
Those are
to.
huge accounts.
Yeah, they were pretty big, pretty big.
Wow.
And like if they needed help with their ad strategy, that's when we would chat. Also, I would share with them and show them how to execute their ad strategy in the platform in Sprinkler software. And that was a great job. Well, and then this is also the job that I quit for Be Collective. I was there at Sprinkler and I resigned that position to explore that new path. And then 4 years later, we're here. And this year was super transitional. So it had its ups and its downs and its highs and its lows, but that led us to where we're at now. And there's all these other little jobs. Like one things I didn't mention is when I moved back to Chicago, when I left Miami for the last time, I did get recruited by Groupon to open up their Groupon getaways.
Good, I remember that. And you guys used to you were allowed to like drink at work or something. Yeah. You're like, yeah, I'm cracking open a beer. It's like 1:00 in the afternoon at your desk. I'm like, what? There's like a refrigerator full of like Red Bulls, and it was crazy.
Yeah, it was Wednesday mimosas, and there I am. I opened up Latin America, South America, so all of those Groupon getaways to Mexico and Argentina and all the Caribbean islands, and
wow, Bonnie, you are just like now listening and thinking back on everything that you've done. It's like a world of wealth of knowledge. You have so much. You bring so much to the table. And it's whoever has the opportunity to be part of this podcast or work with you, like you're the real deal. Like you have like some solid accolades and experience. And no, for real. Because my gosh, like it's like these, huge corporate companies, that you've been part of on on the marketing side, on the business side, business development side. And, that's phenomenal. It's huge. It's huge. And, we're still so young. You're still so young. So who's to say, like, fast forward 20 years from now, where you'll be and what you have done. So, okay, so check. So podcast. So what else? What else is going to be there? This is so amazing. I'm so happy that we're getting the opportunity to talk about this, because on our everyday life, we don't talk about the Groupon days.
No, can't. We need to talk about what's important. Like,
yeah,
tell me lies.
Exactly. Much more important things. Like, what is Steven gonna do next season? Now, how can listeners connect with you? How can they reach out to you, part of this?
Okay, so if there are any folks out there that would like to be a guest and to be featured, then you can email me at vanessa@vmbcreativeco.com. And I'll have that in the show notes too. But highly recommend that you subscribe to the newsletter to stay current and up to date with future guests and any awesome events. To be one of the first to hear about it, you got to be subscribed to the newsletter.
I receive these newsletters and I read them and I learn from them. And although I'm in a completely different industry, I'm like, oh, wow, I could use that. I read one the other day about like how how like managers could really like engage with their employees and just let's get to the root of, let's say, whatever the problem might be. And so you suggested, let's go. It wasn't like a coffee break. Yeah, exactly. So like very, casual. And so I've implemented that.
And how did it go?
I mean, great, considering that my assistant loves coffee. Like we love some Dunkin' Donuts. So yes.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yes,
That's
yes, yes.
awesome. And
That's
like
amazing.
part of the newsletter too is and something that I actually recently started that I'm going to translate and bring it over to the podcast is where you can ask me questions, right? So you could submit questions, whether it is like marketing or if it's business related or if it is life related, whatever. Obviously, I'm not going to pick a question that I don't have the answer to or I can't help or I can't, provide a solution for. But I'm excited about that because it makes me think of like the Dear Abby days. And I always wanted to have a column like Dear Abby. Like
Yeah,
literally
she seemed to have the answer for everything.
everything.
Yeah.
For everything. And for the youngins that don't know Dear Abby, you got to look up Dear Abby because Dear
Google
Abby
that.
had all the answers. Like
Google
Dear
that. I wonder what
Abby,
happened to her. We should Google what happened to Dear Abby.
we should.
Yeah.
We should. So yeah, like I'm excited to do that
Okay.
again, just because I just feel like I am, I watched the Martha Stewart documentary. Yeah, have you seen it?
I haven't seen it yet. I was caught up with
Twin. You have to see it. It's good.
Okay.
Love Martha Stewart. But she does say something that like just resonated like to the core, and it's like she's like, I am a purveyor of information. And it's just like I relate to that, like back to, similar to what you said earlier. It's just like I've been through a lot. So I've learned a lot. So I'm at this point where I just want to give back everything that I've learned. And there's more to learn. But I just feel like I've gone through enough that like I can shed the light, right? And I can share the light. And then also I want to continue learning. So I want to meet people and share the mic with people that either are new to me but have been referred because they are aligned and it makes a good fit to be on the pod, but also folks that I admire and that are in different industries like you. I want to bring people on that are in different areas in their business and careers and life, just to learn from. And if I'm learning from them, other people can learn from them, right? So in a space where sharing is caring, that's where I'm really just like doing that. Yeah. And I'm doing it in my way.
Yeah, I love that. I love I love it. I love the concept and I love this platform and I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited about all the guests. I'm excited. And just to see you in this, in this, how do you call this? Yeah, totally. I love it. And your voice, it's so sweet. I never met anybody from Chicago. So just even like how you were was so different and so refreshing. And I loved it. I really, really loved it. And honestly, during that time, because, I didn't leave Miami to go to school. I stayed in Miami. So to me, I'm like, wow, this girl, she left everything, packed up her stuff, got in her car, drove down, got herself into this university, and you lived in the dorms for a little bit, then you got apartments. You lived everywhere in Miami, by the way. I did. I've never helped you move so much in my life.
Every year.
Wow.
It felt like every single year.
Yeah. Yeah. But I thought that was, amazing. Like I from get, admired you for that. That was amazing.
That was fun. We had a great time. And honestly, you've taught me so much, Twin. So like, I'm always so grateful for you. And
okay, Twin. So sadly wrap this up. What's something that you hope the listeners feel after spending some time with us during this episode?
I hope everybody had an opportunity to know me now a little bit more than at the start of this episode. That's actually a huge reason why I asked you to be a part of this episode with me is because there really is no other person besides my partner and my son who sees the real raw me 24/7, that sees the things that I go through or witness or experience. And so I may not talk about it much, but you guys are living it with me day to day. And y'all are extremely special in my world. So having you be here right now and helping me introduce this podcast, helping me introduce this new chapter in this new journey allows me to be as authentic as I can be because it's just so natural with you. I feel if people were to see how we are together, they can instantly say, okay, I like her or I don't. And
You don't? Oh, well.
bye, Felicia. But I'm here for those people that would be like, oh my God, I could relate, or oh, that was funny, or oh, people that can just see who I am and take me for what it's worth and have faith in that what I promise to deliver will help them out one way or another, stick around for the long haul and have an opportunity to learn who I am.
Love that. I love that. I love being here with you. I'm excited.
Thank you so much, twin.
Thank you. I love you so much.
I love you. And thank you guys for listening. Thank you for sticking around. Please, if you did enjoy this episode, I ask that you subscribe and you give us a rating and share this with your friends. And if you are somebody that would like to be a featured guest here on the pod, please feel free to reach out to me. All of the contact information will be in the show notes. Thanks, mi gente. Ciao.